Hello. Sorry, I'm just trying to get some... Loving the face cam. Yeah, that's me. Casual. Sorry, I'm just sorting a couple bits out. I'm hoping you guys can hear me because I'm using a new microphone at the moment. Yeah, that definitely should... Yeah. There we go, now I'm basically ready to start. Sorry guys. So, today, I'm basically just going to be doing some texturing, a little bit of modelling at the beginning, but the main thing is going to be texturing. Something which I think I will start off with and show you is the model which I recently tweeted on my personal tweet, which was of a hummingbird, which I was kind of really into. How it kind of came about was I just like one day figured I want to make a hummingbird, so I just did. Let me get it up for you guys because I think this was a really cool little model that I did, and I think it's kind of helpful for me because it kind of shows how far I've come along as a modeler within the last month. I've really started to develop, and it's really nice to see. Tom just hops onto the stream and the first thing he does is make the most savage comment. That is Tom for you. Anyway, so this hummingbird here was based off a real life hummingbird model, which I just like a picture of a hummingbird which I found on the internet, using a mixture of both skeletons and kind of interesting colours and textures. So I just kind of went full in on that. Usually I don't do a lot of models with texturing quite so colourful and with quite so much contrast, like especially between these reds and these kind of purpley blues. Like that was quite a new thing for me. I'm glad I did it though because it came out really cute, and this is something which I want to kind of keep on going with as I develop. Try and get this kind of colourful, interesting model while still having it somewhat voxelized and trying to keep, you know, bones and cubes to a minimum because I do like that Minecraft style. It's just about elevating it. So today I am going to be making, well, texturing at least, a buck, which you might have seen on my Twitter recently. Let me just get it up for you. Here we go. So this is the buck model which I did. I did this a while back. It's a fairly basic model really. It's just got a lot of different angles in it, but as you can see overall I try to keep it quite squared off still. So we've got all 4 legs, neck, head and main body as our different main bones at least. So someone asked earlier about why I chose to have these little feety hoof things as it is and not have it, you know, also on the front legs. I chose that because this kind of, as you can see, this lower leg ends in a diagonal, so you have to have something there to kind of make it look leveled off. And at the same time, when I looked at an antelope model and an antelope leg, it kind of had a more pronounced hoof, or whatever you want to call it, on the back leg rather than the front. So I decided to go with that. In the future, maybe I will add, you know, another foot on the front as well, just trying to level it off. But for now, I'm going to keep it as is, just, you know, because the main part of this kind of stream is about texturing. So this is my antelope model as well, which I'll get up to you, which is another thing which I'm possibly going to texture today, but we'll see if I have time, which is very much based off the buck and just with slightly different proportions. So it has a bigger butt and longer neck and different horns. We'll see if we get onto that. But at the moment, what I wanted to start off with is actually to make a new model. Just as a warm-up, I like to do like little models as a warm-up. So I'm going to do a little butterfly, which is something I've wanted to do. Quite small scale, simple, easy to warm up with. It's absolutely freezing in Britain at the moment. It's snowing outside, so I'm cold and need to warm up my hands before actually getting into anything. So I'm just going to get a nice butterfly picture up to begin with. So probably the kind of basic butterfly shape, if I show you here. Something like this. Thinking about it, usually before I start modelling, I divide it into parts. So we've got this upper wing part, which is made of probably one larger square here and a smaller one to connect to the body, and this bottom one, which is pretty squared off already. And for the main body, we have one long cube and then little antennae and little feet. So I'm choosing a butterfly really because it's small and you can get some really beautiful textures from butterflies. Like, just looking at these images already, you can have so many different patterns and they're all so beautiful and colourful, and I'm trying to be a more colourful person at the moment, so we're going to go with it. So let's start off by making our main body, making sure to name our bone and cubes as we go, because I'm really bad at that and it's not very helpful at the end to have to then go in and rename everything. So main body. This is quite a small butterfly, so it'll probably only be this long in body length, I think, which is obviously in proportion if we're thinking of a Minecraft block, which is this here. This is currently 16 by 16, so which in kind of, I guess, real world would be almost a meter. So this would be a huge, terrifying butterfly if this was proportional in real life, but I want to get a little bit more detail into it, so it's going to be a little bit out of proportion. So main body. So I'm going to split this into two, the little tail end area and the front end. So I'm just going to duplicate this, bring it out here, and I think I'm going to make the front end a smidge bigger. So I'm going to use this inflate tool, 0.1, just get a bit more. 0.2. Once I've kind of got the rough kind of shape I want for it, I'm just going to go right in and get the head on. You can still see the, yeah, it's still up there. I'll remove it for now. Where has it gone? Look, there you go. Those were a male and female deer, right? The female was an antelope. They were different models. So the male is obviously with the big old antlers, and the female won't have it. I've already done the female, so I won't be working on that today. But how big things have to look to be natural. Yeah, I know, it's difficult. Like, I've recently been kind of looking at trying to make them proportional, but whenever I've done that, the resolution just looks so small and it doesn't really work well. So I'm gonna try and pump up the models a bit, just so I can get that level of detail in. So we've got the main body here, and butterflies have 6 legs through on either side. And to do this, I'm just going to make a much smaller cube, which actually has to be part of a leg bone because I want this slightly rotated as well. And I'm going to use this rotate tool up here in the toolbar to move it round to the kind of angle I want. Okay, position it right. I also want this angled down. There we go. As well as this, I'm going to also have a lower part of the leg to try and give it this kind of more lifelike feel. So I'm just going to duplicate this and put it in a new bone, leg lower. And I spelled that wrong. Oh well. And again, just going to rotate this round, change the origin. So much better than cubic. Yeah, I personally, I've only really ever used block bench, but I really enjoy it. If you rotate something on a folder, does it rotate everything as relative positions? It does. So if I was to take this leg and I was to rotate this top folder here, I guess, in the hierarchy, then if I rotated it, everything would rotate with it, which is why if you have something connected to the upper part of the leg, you need to make a new bone connected to it, if that makes sense. So let's just move this back up here. What is your real job? So I'm a full-time student, but right now I'm on placement year, which basically means the year before final year, before third year, in which I go out in industry and work a job for a whole year. It's absolutely horrific. Dear Lord, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'd do without Blockbench, to be honest. It's so well made and so well done. So big props to Janice, the creator. So I'm actually going to add a head onto this butterfly as well. I'm going to do that now. Here we go. So like I said, they have 6 legs. So let's take this leg, duplicate it, and then rotate this round, probably around about when it's straight on 90 degrees. Let's move it in here. I want it on the same level. How do you rotate so smooth? So something which I learnt recently, which has been an absolute lifesaver, is if you hold Control or Shift when making a entity model, you can rotate it however you want. Of course, that is only in entity mode. It's not, you know, which is for Bedrock. It's not for Java Edition or block models and stuff. So that is something to be aware of. But if you are using Bedrock, then you can rotate it however you please, which is brilliant. Excited to see me too. Yeah, it's something that I learned very suddenly, as well as how you can move things with Shift and Control. I actually learned this a couple of weeks ago on my last stream, which was amazing because I'm learning things from this whilst trying to somewhat, you know, shut off Blockbench and teach other people. So let's move this inward so it's flush with this. I don't want it to have like this weird little cut on the top because it looks like his arm's half falling off that way. So always be wary of that. Yeah, and let's make one more leg, which we're going to rotate out this way. I think a bit further might be nice. Yeah, it's the kind of thing which, like Dragon said, you learn as you go. The more practice, like I know it's cliche, but practice makes perfect. So control moves it in increments of 0.1, I believe, and shift 0.15. Actually, mine's doing something different now, but I don't know, whatever. Yeah, like, to be honest, I probably still need a tutorial video. So if you want to make that, that would be perfect. Yeah. I mean, I think there's always so many things to learn that it's, you know, you're never quite done learning. The same thing goes with Minecraft. I've been playing it for absolutely years, but I'm still learning things. Anyway, so I didn't even finish explaining my job. So I basically am a packaging technologist, which sounds far more interesting than it is, for a company based down here in Britain in a place called Hampshire in Alton. What I do is kind of, I work with customers to supply them with health and beauty jars and bottles and really, really uninteresting things. So, you know, not particularly interesting, not as interesting as this job. I cannot wait to finish with uni, finish with my job, and I'm going to be taking, hopefully, Minecraft full time, including modelling, of course. So something which I'm going to do now is make these lower leg parts smaller, slightly smaller than the upper leg, so I can get rid of any Z fighting between the texturing. It is free, Hyriel. It's actually free. It's brilliant. I've only ever done models for Bedrock Edition myself, and only entity models, because that's the kind of thing that I do with Everbloom at the moment. So we work on the marketplace, so of course all of our stuff is just, you know, purely entity model related. Unfortunately, we don't have block models as of yet, but hopefully soon we'll have something else. So I'm just duplicating all these legs and flipping it over. You paid money for Cubic. Oh, you've made a mistake. So looking at this now, let me just get the butterfly up again. So this body's now too long. It's starting to look a bit like a dragonfly. I think I was somehow in my head I got mixed up with dragonfly and butterfly and started doing it wrong. You can mirror things too. Mind blowing, I know, right? Yeah. I've been lucky enough to, from the very beginning, use Blockbench. So I have never had to experience Cubic. How many months or years have you modelled, or when did you start? So I'm now in my second or third month of modelling, I think third. So I've only recently started, to be honest, but I'm really enjoying it. It's going pretty well, hopefully, as far as I'm aware. And I'm straight on to working on Everbloom project, which is great. Hello, Graph. How are you doing? So I started just before Christmas. I had the Christmas holidays to kind of learn the program and stuff, and yeah, it's been great. Vertex snapping. Yeah, for those of you who don't know what vertex snapping is, for instance, if I had this over here and I was like, damn, I want this to connect up with my model here. So I move this across and I'm like, oh my god, it doesn't line up properly. What am I gonna do? Dramatic reenactment, of course. You can use this vertex snaps right here, and then it comes up with all the different vertices. You simply click one, click which model you want it to which block you want it to move to, and just click the vertex in there, and you have seamless connections, which is brilliant. So vertex snapping, absolute genius. Gotta love Blockbench. This is just one old big advertisement for Blockbench at the moment. I apologise. So I just started one wiggle and I'm impressed you can learn so quick. Yeah, I think it's really, really simple and easy to work with. It's so user friendly, like everything has just been brilliant. So for this actually, I'm going to vertex snap all of these up so they're in line, because the only thing that's going to be textured on these legs is the top. So I don't want any, any gaps between this. So vertex snapped, and this is where it comes in really useful. So vertex snap this to this, and using control to shift it over a certain amount so it's in the middle. Same goes for this, vertex snapping it and easily moving it to the middle. And that's so easy instead of having to make calculations and working things out or doing it by eye. So now I'm just going to flip these over because it's easier than just doing the same for these. Because I want these legs to be the same, obviously. User friendly, but apparently still needs tutorials. Yeah, I mean, if you're completely starting out, then it can be a lot to get to grips with. Luckily, I had previous experience in modelling software because I do it on my university course. So for me, I picked it up fairly quickly, whereas I can imagine for others it can be pretty overwhelming to suddenly have all these options and not really know what to do. So it is user friendly. Very impressed. Right, so butterfly. Let's get onto the wings. So from side, I was just looking at kind of the legs and how they're positioned. I need to stop opening Photoshop, Jesus. And I think these now need to be moved round a bit after looking at that image. So we're just going to rotate it round as it disappears into the body. Come back. There we go. Yeah, I've never tried Cubit personally, but I don't feel the need to try it because I'm very happy where I am. And now that I've kind of learned the program, it's a lot simpler for me. So now you can see that this isn't entirely horizontal. It has a little bit of an angle to that. So very easily, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rotate tool and just rotate it slightly round until this looks more parallel to the rest of the body, which is probably round about there. Let's move this up and across. There you go. How big will they currently be in game? Yeah, so this will be probably half a block big, which is pretty sizable and not exactly that's terrifying in a game, let's be honest. If you had a butterfly that size come up to you, you would not know what to do. So it will be scaled in game, which can be pretty easy if you've got some decent devs to do it for you. It's not easy for me, of course, because I have no idea what I'm doing dev wise, but we have decent devs who know what they're doing. Just rely on them. Good old devs. So let's get on to the wings now. So adding a new group. This is going to be the left wing. Let's go for the left wing. Adding a cube, which I'm also going to call left wing top. If you ever see any of my models which are getting more complex and have a lot of cubes, you'll just see like a ton of these names, like left wing top, then it'll be left wing top, left wing top, bottom. That is one thick butterfly. I like it thick. All my models end up a bit thick, to be honest. You've got to have this representation in butterflies. What can I say? The ground is the size of a full block. Yeah, so this grid at the bottom is representation of a full block. It's an option you can have in Blockbench. You can get rid of it if you want, but I like to have it because it makes it clearer in my mind how big things are going to be. Especially working on multiple models, just proportion wise, it makes it clearer. And this bigger cube, which I like to have, is 3x3, which is generally the limit for Java, but I like it just so I can, if I'm working with bigger models, it's clearer to me how big they really are. But like I said, lots of models have to get scaled in game to get the desired resolution. So which one should I use? I'll use this one. So this could possibly be broken into two, but I'm trying to kind of keep to as little components as I can really, to try and give it the Minecrafty feel. Watercress, which tier of vegetable is it? Does it even count as a vegetable if it's leaves? Is there a limit in Bedrock? No, there is no limit in Bedrock, apart from the fact, obviously, optimization, it will, you know, take up a lot of memory if you have it absolutely huge, as well as if you have the texture to go alongside it. So there isn't really a limit, which is good for me, so I don't really have to worry about that. I can just go as I please. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's not. SpongeBob on the scale. I was never into SpongeBob. Is that bad to say? I couldn't get into it. Lags. Oh, the bigger the hitbox is, yeah. I mean, it entirely depends what you're using it for. So I'm not really too sure on the technical details. I'm still learning, but yeah, huge ass model, tiny hitbox. Yeah, but the thing is, you also have to consider textures. If it's a really, really large model, then you know we'll have a really large. What the hell am I doing? What's just happened? You'll have a really large texture, which is not efficient. My block bench is having a breakdown. Let's have that here. I'm going to put this lower part into a new group, so I can rotate it independently. So I'm going to move slightly down to avoid any sleeve heighting, make it slightly smaller, and then rotate it. Ah, sweet. Yeah, so new block bench update basically allows you to, what's it called? It allows you to optimize textures and compress them. So, which is really helpful if you have large bosses or anything in maps which you need to optimize, which we do have in upcoming maps, so keep an eye out for that. Let's have another look at these wings. I don't think they're not quite there at the moment. A lot of what I spend my time modelling is literally just flicking between Chrome and Blockbench. I've never tried vehicles in Blockbench, but I think I should at some point. I'd love to make some vehicles. They can be quite complex as well though, like, there's some people doing proper undercarriages and everything. It's kind of crazy. But if you're ever making a map for the marketplace, hey, vehicles are very popular. There's a little hint. Right, this is such a thick butterfly. You weren't wrong, Graph. Let's just make it skinnier. It's going on a diet. Let's move all these in. Make sure the model is centered. Okay. Full out on Marketplace stuff. Yeah, honestly, Marketplace has been fantastic for me because it's now allowed me to get into modelling, like something which, if I'd stayed with those, you know, usual server commissions, I probably never would have got the chance to do. But because of the Marketplace, I actually have a chance to expand my horizons, I guess. Which is great. Like, modelling has been crazy interesting. After building for so many years, it's quite refreshing. So I definitely, especially because of my experience in Minecraft as well, I feel like it's genuinely helped my modelling because I kind of understand the kind of blocky style, I guess, because I've always had to work with it. So it's been, you know, it's been helpful. So I think if you have been a builder for a few years, it does help. So I'd definitely suggest you try it out, Ariel. I'm just trying to give the wings a bit more shape at the moment because they look a bit dull. Somewhat interesting at least. Right. I'm also going to give the head some antennae. I don't even know how to spell antennae. Just say and one. Will you be playing Hytale, and what do you think to the modeler maker on there? The models on Hytale, I've mentioned this before, are bloody beautiful. I am amazed at them, and I wish that I could create something like that. Hopefully one day I'll get to that level, but we'll see. At the moment I'm still learning, but they're lush, they really are. I don't know if I'll be playing it personally because I am chock-a-block with Marketplace stuff at the moment. I've got projects coming out of my ears. And now that I am modelling a bit, I kind of want to spend a lot of time developing my skills for that so I can, you know, do more modelling. Come on, blocks and models eventually. Perhaps a mini-game of sorts. Yeah. Honestly, I think if you ever get the chance to try something else out for the Marketplace, go for it. Like, it's pretty enjoyable. What do you guys think of Hytale then? I know there's a lot of hype about it still, so we'll just have to see when it releases. So I think this antenna is a bit thick at the moment, so I'm just going to deflate it a bit. 0.3. There we go. This will be a flat texture. I'll just make all the other sides have no texture, if that makes sense, and just have the top. But for now, it's going to have that bottom thing. Just something that's worth noting, you can, if I want to completely flip this along north, then this is going to have to be in a different bone, as far as I'm aware. Put this at 1.1, I guess. No, I screwed up. And I'm going to put this in and 1.2. Nope, that's not flipping how I hoped. I'm so hyped about Hytale, I even made a hype video. It looks like everything I ever wanted from Minecraft, at least in terms of RPG features in a server environment. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of hype for stuff like that. I'm really interested to see, you know, how many people move over. Like, I think it'll take a while, but it could be interesting. It will no doubt be successful. I'm just loving that, you know, there's so many more options out there now. Like, if you did want to develop your skills further, you now have Hytale, which is going to be so much easier to create your own content, create new games, you know, etc. So for this left wing, I'm gonna just copy it across quickly, see how it's looking. It's looking okay at the moment. Let's get this up again. I've gone for a different kind of style for the lower wings, like this. I would rotate some of these parts, but because I want these textures to be flat, there's going to be a lot of Z fighting if I rotate anything, and I don't really want that. Yeah, Hypixel have been in a perfect situation to kind of, you know, make this new game, seeing as they already have the fan base in a very similar game already. I feel like the hype's died down a little bit whilst we're waiting for it to be released, but as soon as it gets released, I'm sure it'll be hyped back up. Right, so let's just stick with this kind of model for now, because this was only meant to be a warm-up and it always takes me longer than expected. So I'm going to make all of these one thick, just because when texturing, often if I'm trying to texture a cube with a height of 0, it can be really buggy and difficult to work with. So I'm going to make it one thick and make all the other sides transparent, and I'll go with that. So create a new texture, I'm going to call it butterfly 1.1. I'm going to use the template, confirm. Here we go. So what I'm going to start off by doing is going over to paint and using the eraser tool to just get rid of these sides all along here, all along here. Something which is worth noting is there's stuff in between there, but that's pretty easy to fix just by hiding different parts. So that's all clear, front bit. Yep, that bit's fine. Let's look at this part, get rid of this and along here. Would it work by making the element 0.01 thick? To be honest, if you do it 0.1 thick, I know that there is a lot of bugging with the, you know, using textures for entity models, especially if they are less than 1. You can get a whole lot of glitching, and it's not really something I want to deal with. And I know if it's only 0.01 thick, you might not even be able to notice, but there still might be a little bit of texture bleeding, and it's not really worth the risk. So for me at least, I might as well do this. It's not really much more work and doesn't really make much of a difference, so kind of why not? I need to collapse all these groups, this is getting insane. So I'm just going to hide everything by the wings. This is probably going to be a lot easier to do it this way. Go by bit, getting rid of all this. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Put grounds down. Oh, does it? Well, you might be alright then, but yeah, doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me right now. And if I wanted to, for say, like, do some of these parts to have a little bit on the other sides, then I could do it this way. But I mean, it just depends on, you know, how you'd rather do it. I'm still learning, of course, so I'm still learning the best ways. Like I said, you just need to practice, and practice makes perfect. There we go. So very easily, I'm just going to copy across these textures by doing Control C, clicking on the texture I want to copy it across, and Control Ving it. Really quick and easy, just to get these all the same. Another great thing with that is if I do something on this side, the same thing will now happen on the other. And because this component was originally mirrored, it does it exactly how I want it to. Anyway, so that's the wings done. Let's now do the legs. So the legs are all the same size. So for this, all I have to do is one leg. And I think, do I want this one or do I not? I think I'll go no for now. So we've got one leg, and now I can just copy it across to all the other legs. Copy, paste, 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 paste. Oh darn, magic. I know, I was mind blown when I figured this out. The same when I first discovered that world edit in Minecraft could flip things. I was literally, I used to copy blocks across block from block like an absolute noob. Same thing for this, like as soon as you know that you can just flip it across, it's such a time saver. So for these antennae, at the moment they're looking a bit small for me, so I'm just going to go back into edit quickly and just deflate them a little bit less. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do. Oh Lord. I remember doing this huge castle build and I would literally copy it block for block over, and I must have spent hours doing it, and then only for someone to tell me I could have just pasted it the whole time. Copy pasted, flipped, you know. But like I said, learning experience, the more experience you have, the more you learn. Yeah, it gives it a much different look, but it's still a really fat butterfly. It's so fat. It doesn't matter. It's okay for now. I can easily just deflate it by a little bit. Oh, should not have done that. I'm gonna make it a little bit thinner. Is that thin enough? It's a little bit thinner. There you go. I think this will do for now at least. So let's get on to actually texturing. Wow, I'm only like 40 minutes in and I've only just started texturing, for goodness sake. Okay. So colouring wise, I want to go for something bright. Probably one of the most common kind of known butterflies, this orange one here. So I think I might go for this at the moment. So let's just start by using the paint bucket and going to a nice orange colour. I haven't updated yet. I think I started this stream just before it was released, unfortunately. So let's get this orange going. And there's a black in the middle, so let's get some black. Let's get it on all sides. Ooh. Oh, I missed out a little bit of erasing behind the antennae. That's fine. Okay. Right, and now I want these legs to also be black, so I'm just gonna quickly fill. Easy peasy. We've already got a base down. Great. So, looking at this, you can see it has kind of this outline of black around all the wings. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush, one, I'm just going to solidly colour it in at the moment. want this inside bit to be green orange as well. There we go. Now it does have some black coming across the middle, but I don't know how I feel about that, otherwise it might be a bit too black heavy. On the outside as well, there's also these kind of white dots, so I'm going to take the white and just do a couple of dots here and there. There we go. For this orange, I kind of want it a bit more red, especially for this bottom one. You literally just paint on the pixels. Yeah, it's a lot easier than having to go back and forth between UV editors and stuff to be able to literally just paint on the model. So after I've got some blocked colours in, all I do is just use Alt to select the colour. I turn the opacity down to around about 20 or 30, depending how I'm feeling, and I just kind of go over to get this gradient going on. I just keep on alting and choosing colours from midway to try and get a nice gradient going. And already that kind of melds in better with each other. So I'm going to actually use a dark reddy colour to see if I can try and get some lines coming across. Like you see in butterflies a lot, they have these kind of vein-like lines. So just trying to bring that across a little bit. Ariel, I feel like your mind's just been blown too many times today. And for some of these, I want them, these white spots, I want them a little bit more orange so they're not so bright. The same goes for these black areas. I think I've really, instead of black, I want them to be quite a deep red. Bit too red, so I'm just going to go back to the black with a lower opacity and just go over. You should have looked for alternatives, Ariel, and you would have found Blockbench so much sooner. You'd have been happier off for it. Yeah, I'm just going to make this white a bit lighter again and have this one, I think, the dark red colour. There you go, so pretty quickly we have that kind of a pattern coming together then, which was really quick and easy. So let's look at the head. So the head also has some white spots on it, so I'm just going to turn the opacity up. Take a white colour and this wasn't very helpful because I've only done this texture too wide, which is not very clever of me. Oh well, just go with that. That's okay, we can work with that. Turn this opacity down, add a bit of red. Get some red in this body as well. I think I want this white gone completely. I think it's a lot about personal opinion when between Cubic and Blockbench. It's just about what you're comfortable with. I mean, I learned in Blockbench, so for me, I'm completely happy with Blockbench. It does everything I need it to, so I wouldn't think of changing over. Can I place things? I think so. You can have a go. You have my permission to do so if it works. File update for the next model. Yeah. So now, as you can see, we kind of got most of our model going on. There's a bit of texture and more gradients that I could do with that, but that's just a quick, you know, a quick start off before I actually get into what I was meant to be doing today. So there we go. Started off with butterfly. I'm just going to export this as a Bedrock entity. Going to name it butterfly 1.1, no caps, no spaces, because Bedrock's a bitch. And then I'm going to save this as butterfly 1.1 as well. There we go. And now finally we can actually get on to what I was meaning to, which is this buck. There you go, Harry. I allowed you to show that. You're welcome. So here we go, the buck. Now, now animate it. My animating skills are not quite there yet. I'm in the progress of doing it, but it may be a while before I do a video on animating because I'm still getting to grips with it myself. Something I will note about this is please don't judge all my bones which aren't named or numbered. I will do that eventually, but for now at least I haven't bothered. Let me just quickly update. Oh no, it's up to date apparently. Oh no, it's not there again. Let's just update to a new version casually during the stream. Chill. Oh wow, that did not go to plan. Janice, help. Fuck's sake. Well, that did not go to plan. God damn it. Alright, Harry, night. Talk to you later. Where's my Blockbench at? Why are you okay. Let me just casually reinstall Blockbench and hope that it fixes whatever the hell that was. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, I'm reinstalling now, all good. Let's see if this works. Right. Luckily I have pretty speedy internet, so this shouldn't take too long. So as we have a little break midway through the stream, how's everyone's weekends been going? Yeah, in terms of Animation Dragon, like, I have tried some, and I've actually got a couple of things which came out kind of right. I can't talk about them right now because, you know, secrets, but they came out okay and they're currently exciting. Okay, here we go. We're back, no worries. So let's create a texture. Based on template, compressed template, here we go, here's the new option. So as far as I'm aware, what this will do will basically change a really large and spread out texture PNG into a much smaller compressed one, which is great for efficiency for things like Blockbench. Not Blockbench, sorry, Bedrock. So here we go, let's get straight to painting using our paint bucket, and we can actually get our buck image back up. Here we go. Did not mean to do that. Let's move this down a little bit so you guys can see it all. You can't see. Oh crap, okay. Give me a sec. Here we go. It's back. It's just because I uninstalled it and had to reinstall, so I had to update my OBS. No worries though. Is it back now? Please say yes. I'm waiting on you guys. Are we back? Yes? No? I've got a time delay with you guys, so I'm not entirely sure. Okay, well I'm just going to get on with it and hopefully someone will comment that it's back in a bit. So, paint bucket. Looking at this buck, it's quite a light kind of browny orangey. Ah, sweet. Sorry for breaking the stream. How dare you? It's okay. It's a learning progress. Everyone's been very kind and patient though, so I'm just gonna generally for smaller models I do it bit by bit. For larger I just go crazy and just kind of fill in everything with the same colour, copying across the faces as I go. So this has to go for this was this. Something that I have noticed is actually that these flippers and hey, you can now use the filter on entire cubes at once. You can? Ooh, how long is that new? Or have I just been stupid? Oh my god, that's a bloody lifesaver. That's great actually. I'm just going to reflip these legs because the textures don't be seeming to flip properly. We casually just break the deer's leg. And the other one. There we go. Brand new. Oh my god. Amazing. Oh. So much easier now. I need to flip this one as well. Oh. Actually, no, I already had done that. Duplicate. Transform. Flip. There you go. Oh my god, that's so much quicker. Brilliant. GG to Janice. Okay. So, now we've got most of these covered. There might be a few missing. If there are, don't worry about it. I'll get to it in a bit. So, here we go. Dough. Let's get into what I was actually meant to. So, on the inside of the legs of the dough, if we just get an actual picture up as well for me. Oh, not a dough, a buck, sorry. Ew. That's not what I wanted. So it's got white on the inside, it's got white just below the head and on the ears. So that's what I'm going to start off by doing. I'm going to put this paintbrush at a light brown colour, put the size up to 2. There's now a mirror button below your UV editor. Oh my god, there is. You can also toggle mirror items in the outliner. This is mind blowing. Now I'm gonna have to learn all this stuff for the next stream. Sorry guys if I'm just kind of casually learning as I go. So let's move this opacity down to around about 30 and start filling the sides of the legs a little bit, very quickly, very roughly, with this 2-sized brush. And the underside of the belly as well. And on the inside of the back legs. the easiest thing I find is to block in colours and then go from there. This tail area has a little bit of white on the underside. Oh, ignore that. There we go. And under the head, either ear. Very, yes. Okay. Next I look for the darker areas. So there's some darker areas down the side of the front, around the nose of the face and at the top. And this is a darker brown colour. I don't know how much you guys have experience with textures, but very simply, when choosing colours, what I like to do is firstly choose what hue you want. If you want a more orangey brown, yellowy brown, whatever. Obviously up is how much white, down is how much black, so how many light or dark, how light or dark it is. Left to right is how saturated the colour is. So on the right, this is the most orange that colour is. On the left, this is the least amount of orange it has in. Generally, when shading, there's kind of, if you're thinking about adding shadow, it works in almost diagonal-like pattern. So this might be the lightest area, and then the darker area, instead of going straight down like this, it actually will lose some colour and less saturation. But that's getting more into colour theory, and I'm not very good at colour theory. So as a general rule, I like to use lighter colours up here, darker colours down here, to try and get some accurate shading. So let's get a brown colour, move the opacity down because that's quite brown. And that's really brown. And just start going over here. Add some darkness there, around this area, over the top. I'm actually going to move this up to 3. That's probably easier. Keep on going like that. Going over some areas a couple times to give it some more darkness. Interestingly enough, around this centre knee area, it's quite dark. What else? Around the face and the nose. And I know this looks very rough at the moment, but this is how I find it easier to start off. If you start off very rough, it becomes easier to define rather than trying to go full into details. Add some shape around here, give it a bit of roundness. The same with the butt area. Maybe up the back a little bit as well. Behind the ears. And for the rest of it, what I basically do is using Alt and trying to get in between colours to shade around the edge to try and get a nice gradient going so it's not so sudden changes. This facial area is obviously going to need a lot more work later on, so I'm not too bothered about that at the moment, because the face area is one of the areas that you want to focus on the most, because that's generally what humans look at to try and find if things are realistic or not. It's the face. The eyes. So using a low opacity and just every time using Alt to get in the middle to get this kind of in between texture between the lighter colour and the darker colour. And keep on going like that. Bring the white down, bring it nicely into the brown. This is what I generally do. So at the moment you can see I've only used 3 main colours. So I've used the dark brown, the light brown and this whitey colour. As things progress, I like to bring in other colours. So if you look closely, you might see, oh, some areas have more yellow, some more orange. In this, it's pretty much basically a brown deer. There's not an awful lot to take from that. But you can see there are kind of muscles and folds in the skin to really look at, especially around the front of the deer. There's quite a bold muscle between the neck and the main body, which can use some shading. So round here I'd use a darker colour just to emphasise that change. All of these are just all very quickly just trying to get some colour down first before adding detail. And often I want to get it to a point where there aren't neighbouring kind of pixels with the same colour. I want to have some kind of gradient everywhere, because that just adds a bit of noise quite easily, which can just bring a lot more detail out of a model. Making this gradient a bit nicer. Keybinds are very important. It's a lot more convenient than having to keep on pressing the colour dropper. So let's look at the back. Now I also want to look lower down to see what the feet are like. There's not really many pictures of the lower part of the deer. So they have very black kind of, what do you call them, toes? And they have one very black back toe here. So I'm going to bring that in as well. So using a very dark brown. Pure black can be a bit much, so generally I like to use darker browns or blues depending on the model. Bringing in that little hoof. How do you say that? Interesting workflow I see from you. Oh. I mean, I constantly have issues with electronics. I do not know why. I don't know what it is about me, but I always have issues. So at the end of the day, it could just be my computer having a breakdown. Wouldn't be uncommon. But I think a couple others said there was issues as well. So I don't know if it's down to operating system. I don't know. There we go, getting those back toes in. Now I can start actually detailing. So if we go back to this image up here, there is a little ditch around here where the end of the ribs join up with the leg, which is a little bit lighter, funnily enough, around here. I don't want to use white as a kind of shading. I want to use a variation of colour, which is just a bit lighter but not pure white. If you use pure white, it can be a bit much. So bringing this round to kind of get the shape of the ribs going. Moving this opacity right down. So it fades in a bit more seamlessly. And on the top is a bit darker. Generally, of course, you have to do the other side. I'm just going to focus on this side for now, and I can copy across the rest of the texture in Photoshop later. But I don't want to waste time just for you guys, so you don't have to see me do the same thing twice. There we go. For this back leg, we've got some darkness around the top joint, which would be on my model around about here. And this white comes all the way down here. Let's turn this opacity up a little bit. I think 30 is generally the sweet spot for opacity for me. It's the one which I like to work with the most. Having this white come all the way down the front. Moving this opacity down a little bit so I can get a bit more of the orange colour into this lower area. That's starting to take shape a little bit. On this front area, we need to make it clear where the leg is in comparison to the body. So this area around here is going to be lighter to signify this is the ribs, this is the leg. Give it a bit more of a rounded shape. Get some right around the front. Something to keep an eye on is these little areas here. If your model goes in, don't forget about them because they often can be unnoticed if you're looking at it from the side. So you wouldn't notice it here, but here, like, it's very yellow down here. So make sure to keep on top of those as well. There we go. Getting some shape in there now. Emphasize this shape at the front, this kind of rounded shape. It's lighter down the front. Using alt as my best friend. Making sure this bit here is coloured as well. Gonna make this a bit darker to represent a fold in the neck. Just layering it up with opacity is the easiest way, for me at least, to add noise. I know there is a noise tool, but I personally like a bit more control. So I personally like to just turn down the opacity, or you can also turn down the transparency here of the texture. Basically does the same thing, at least as far as I'm aware. So give the ears a nice rounded shape around here, so make this bit darker. Get the top as well. There we go. Now as for the back, I want a more consistent colour covering it, so I'm just going to turn this size up and just fill in the back completely. And this is going to be easier for me to then go around the edges and lighten it up to give it the desired shape. So using a lighter colour around the edges can make it have more of a rounded shape like this. So here, if I just roughly mark out the round shape I want, I can then fill that in. So those who are still watching, what kind of things do you guys do? Are you modelers, builders, here for the fun? Some roundness around the front as well. And then also, because deers have this fur, oftentimes you can get streaks of lighter colour or darker colour. So I'm just going to mark in a few quick streaks, which I'm then going to use a lighter size with a lower opacity just to soften out a bit. Fill in those gaps. Just give it more of a fur-like texture, because fur varies in colour a lot. Spam clicking, as you can probably hear. Hello. I model stuff, I model animate stuff. Ugh, I still need to get into animation. Has anyone got any nice animations they can show me? Because I would love to get into that. I mean, most of the time, at the moment at least, I'm just doing animals because animals are great to practice with, because you of course have so many live models, they exist out there, you can get pictures of them and work from that, skeletons, all sorts, which can be a lot easier to build up if it's something which is real. So that's why I like animals personally. I am going to do a few vehicles soon probably, and kind of expand into maybe some cooler stuff. I'd love to do some dragons. Ugh, I love dragons. I've just seen How to Train Your Dragon 3 actually. Yes, it's a kid movie. No, I do not care. It was beautiful. It was so inspiring. Like even just looking at it for the, you know, the aesthetics. By Monkey on Twitter. Yeah, Monkey's fucking killing it at the moment. Ugh, raging. What monkey? Just some monkey. Hey. Ugh. His crabs as well. I saw those the other day, and I was about to do a crab, and I was like, don't know if I want to do a crab anymore, because it's always going to be compared to that. Dragon. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Your name. I would definitely suggest you guys go see How to Train Your Dragon. I know it's like for kids, but god damn, it's beautiful. I did get very emotional because I think the first movie was released in 2010, and I'm like, that was my childhood. Like, it's so sad that was the final one. It was over, and it was so beautiful. Monkey's OP right now. Yeah, he's killing it. I'm presuming the reason why he's kind of looked into modelling is because, or at least he's doing more modelling, is because he's potentially going to be doing some for, I forgot whatever team he's on, for marketplace stuff. Yeah, I would suggest it. I mean, even if you're not a fan of the general kind of How to Train Your Dragon stuff, I think it's generally worth a watch just because of the animation. It's truly inspiring. The mating dance. Oh yeah. It was really cute, and it had a really nice ending, in fairness. Like, generally it can be hit and miss with programs which are so hyped up, and it was a really hyped up movie, and obviously it's the end of a trilogy. Yeah, some Daft Monkey. Yeah. I haven't seen any of his stuff from a while though, so I'm presuming he's working on something big. It's very exciting. One day I shall defeat him. Doubtful. I thought we were talking about an animated monkey. Well, at least I wasn't. I presume Janice wasn't either. So I'm getting onto the antlers now, which, in order to differentiate it from the body, I'm actually going to make probably darker than they need to be. So I'm just going to hide all of these a bit. Just get rid of everything but the head, and then I'm going to get rid of the head apart from the antlers. So here we go. I'm going to start off quite dark and add some lightness as it goes up. Get a nice gradient on. I would. I mean, One can dream. But yeah, I would love to make a dragon, make a series of dragon models, but yeah, they are a lot to do, especially if I wanted full animations as well. It's a big project, so I think once I've had a bit more experience, then I can, you know, build up to it. Especially because I would want to make dragons which are different to the normal ones, not like cliche, not like direct copies. I'd want to make really unique, interesting dragons, but yeah, I can't imagine it being particularly easy. I also started doing some concept art at some point for just Everbloom projects, so I'd like to get back into concept art and maybe draw up a few plans for some dragons. I always used to draw dragons as a kid, I loved it. He made the animated piranha recently. I have no idea, I haven't seen it, I don't think. Has anyone else seen it? Animated piranha. Oh, the piranha plant! I thought you just said piranha. Was that you? I'm pretty certain that was you. A fruit-based dragon. As in inspired by fruit, or dragons that only eat fruit? The piranha plant. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that was yours, wasn't it? Show us dragon. I don't have a dragon right now. I wish I did. I would like to work on dragons. Like, show us a dragon. I should just casually whip up a dragon within a few minutes, right? Easy. I'm hoping one day to show you a dragon. Stick around for a few weeks and maybe I'll get there. No promises though. It's just looking at these antlers in comparison to the head and the colour. The animation from Splash Ultimate. Oh, was yours the one with the green lips? I think there was one with green lips, right? Oh, books. I started building a dragon once in Minecraft, if that's anything. I've missed a lot of textures on these antlers. Let's just fill those in. Go away, ugly blue. Oh, I'm still on fill cube. Bad idea. Show. There you go. Someone called Max made it. I'll show it so everyone can see it. Play GIF, play. There we go. That's pretty cool. I feel like it could have more movement around the neck, and it's nice. It's a good start. It's probably better than what I can do right now. Yeah, so basically in the future, expect a dragon, hopefully. So I've just realised I've been using a 2 paintbrush on a 2 wide texture, so I'm just going to give a bit more variation. Mixture of dragon and plant. Oh my god, they're so cute! Oh, what's that? Oh, is that a dragon fruit? Oh, I love the pineapple. Those are super cute, actually. Oh, I love the banana one. I could possibly do that in a couple weeks. I could try. I love this one. I could try and do something like this. Who knows? A couple weeks. Maybe you'll see some fruit-inspired dragons. This is Dragon Master's piranha plant here, for those watching. This is pretty cute. I love the gradients as well. They're very, very smooth. Very smooth. Spam the screen. I want to see the dragon. I tell you what, after my 5th stream, maybe I'll do one. Make sure to follow my Twitter, and then you'll get notifications to tell you when I'll do it. Casual plug. But I would like to do dragons. I probably would want to do some concept art at the same time to do with dragons, because I feel like dragons are really interesting to draw as well. So let me know if you'd actually want to see me do any concept art. I'm not great at it, but I do a lot of drawing in Photoshop and painting, so it should be interesting. I've never drawn nor model. Why are you called Dragon Master? What are you doing with your life? You've missed a key opportunity. Where does Dragon Master come from? Casual ad. Casual shout out, and I'm alright. Can't help it. It's got to be done. So I'm just keeping progressing with these antlers, giving it a bit more texture. Entity mode could be really useful for dragons in comparison to block mode. Absolutely. You could get such nice rotations on claws and wings and tails. I haven't seen a really beautiful dragon model yet, I don't think, with the new rotation updates. I just can't make it work. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think it just will take a lot of practice and a lot of planning, which is, like I said, I'd have to do concept art to plan it all out. Generally, when I'm modelling, I will draw out what I plan to kind of model. So I'll take an animal, I'll break it down into different sections and different blocks as simply as I can. And when it comes to actually modelling, that's so much helpful to have something to work from. So if you're able to do that, just grab a notebook, draw something up and try and make it work. They look like snakes with a bellyache because they ate too much. They're a bit bloated, right? It's a learning process, of course. Just keep working on it. You'll eventually get there, I'm sure. Like everything, practice makes perfect, kids. Never forget. So these antlers are more or less kind of where I want them. Maybe a bit lighter on the upper faces. Now I want to animate a dragon. Oh, I can only imagine how difficult animating a dragon must be. And then if you want to get it in game as well, you can add sounds, and you're going to have to figure out how to get those sounds to line up with the animation. Oh, it's a big old bag. I assume Browser counts as a dragon. I mean, isn't he like a weird turtle dragon mix? It's not a traditional dragon in the sense. Why doesn't Bowser have wings? That's a really key question. There we go, the antlers are kind of how I want them now. So let's get down onto the face. Generally, I like to put eyes on the side of faces, not on the front. Why? I'm not. Generally, it looks more realistic that way. Often, if you put eyes on the front of models, they look derpy as hell. So let me just test out some placements. Like if I put it on the front, it just looks a bit derpy. So I'm gonna start on the side at least. I could always have them come over. Let's have a look. So first of all, I just do general kind of testing out different areas, different shapes. This is obviously not final, it wouldn't be this dark either. Not sure about that. Let's move this down. Here maybe? That might work a bit better. Or if you made a dragon, I want to give a try animating it. If I make a dragon, if I ever make a dragon, you're welcome to try animating it. I mean, that actually relies on me actually making one though. So who knows? Like I said, maybe in a few weeks I'll be ready to do that, but for now at least I'm happy with my animals, getting this stuff done. There you go, that eye placement might be alright, you know? It's not perfect, but it looks better from this way than from the side. I mean, obviously you can't see anything from the front. So let's look at the nose. Quite a rounded shape. Nostrils dark around the mouth and slightly lighter up the nose. Let's get this nose a bit darker. Browser counts and I made a dragon. I'm going to say I'm not going to count it because I want you to make an actual dragon. There's your challenge, Dragon Master. Pfft. Dragon Master my ass. We can compete with Monkey in 2. We will defeat him. And by defeat, I don't mean anything bad by that. I'm just really jealous of him. I'm just being salty because he's too good. Monkey, if you're out there, don't hate me. I really respect you. It's annoying because like I started modelling and animating and all of a sudden Monkey started posting all this stuff and I'm like, God damn it, why can't I be good as him already? So now it's my mission to one day be as good as him. So let's get this nose nice and dark. He's a good guy though. Darker even. So is this not good enough? Let's have a look. I really want to know how you like actually managed to pull that off because it looks great. It is, right, by not good enough, it's a very good model. What I mean is, I want a dragon with wings and tails and claws and that breathes fire and has animated textures. That's what I want from you. Simple request. I started animating stuff and I was proud on animation on a Minecraft dog. Oh, I love dogs. Then arrives him. Yeah. Oh well. It's great to have people who are like really strong in the kind of the community because it just kind of convinces you to go further and try harder and really challenge yourself and really push yourself to, you know, be that good one day, which is great. So he's definitely something to take inspiration from. I actually streamed that one. Unfortunately, I no longer have that stream stored anywhere. Where did you stream it? Is it not on Twitch or whatever, or YouTube or whatever you want to use? Basically consists of 6 different models to cope with rotation. Wait, is that a Java model? Is that a block model? Six different models to cope with rotation. You're kidding me? That cannot be a Java model, a block model. Are you mad? Oh, do they? I didn't realise that. I've never used Twitch. Jesus, Dragon Master. Oh my God, that stresses me out just to look at. That's far too much organisation for me. Stuck with, you know, I'll stick with these all the way with bedrock modelling. Jesus. Well, I don't know, 4 different ones since arms, yeah, of course. Blocks item models, that's crazy. That's crazy impressive, actually. I never realised that. You never did tell me why you're called Dragon Master, Dragon Master. There we go, I think we're getting there a little bit with this face now. Get some texturing down here. And let's just put it with the rest of the body again. Put him back together. There we go. Seems to be doing the job nicely. Let's get this tail a little bit, has some white at the bottom. I don't know, I made that name 12, so half my life ago. Ah, okay, yeah. To be fair, my Minecraft username is Ninja Master Sensei, with the Sensei spelt wrong, so I cannot judge. I know the struggles of 12-year-old you making poor decisions in life. Oh, I love dragons as well. Let's have a look at this animation then. Oh my god. As if you got everything to move as well, like, together. And the swipe. Love it. Yeah, I need to learn how to get my animations going. And I have a bunch of things that I want to show you guys as well, which I'm not allowed to yet, but stay tuned. Soon you'll be able to see them all. Be excited. So this face is now a bit dark in comparison to the rest, so I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit. And it's kind of coming together now. So let's now do the lower legs a bit. They need a little bit of love. So I want to bring in some more white just to give a bit more colour variation down here. Where are the hoofs at? What is happening here? Oh, it's a decoy bug. It's really typical that all their feet are just covered in something in all these pictures. I don't want to search for deer foot because I don't want to see an actual deer foot, which I have no doubt that I'll end up seeing. It's just grim. Oh, there's so many hunting pictures. I don't like this. For God's sake. Oh, here we go. So kind of a grey toe with black surrounding. Let's move this to more grey. I know, as I'm watching the stream instead of doing what I should do now. Me every day. Procrastination, am I right? Luckily for you, this stream is almost finished because we've almost finished this model. Deer fur texture. I could do that. Deer fur texture. Let me have a look at that. Deer fur texture. Oh, there we go. So, I want one with a little bit of variation. This is quite nice. An L deer. quite cute. Oh, they're quite dark as well. They've got some nice colour variation going on. Let's get some more dark browns then. I mean, lots of these models are kind of inspired loosely by animals. They don't have to be the same. Next week you'll be descended by streams. Yay! Yep. Thank you. Right. So we've got most of this done now. You are evil. Yes, tune in every week. Do as he says. Here we go. Let's get a little bit more texture in this front area and we're almost done. Hurrah! Right then. So obviously, like I said, this side isn't done. But this side is. Just don't look at this side. This side's fine. Right. Let's just have one final look over everything. Anything else that I have to do? I'm going to make these feet areas a little bit darker. Add a bit of variation. Stream on Twitch and post a time lapses on YouTube channel, but the one linked in this profile if you don't forget. Oh, that's honestly, I was travelling back from a mate's place in Nottingham today, and it got to around about 6, and I just suddenly thought, oh my god, I'm meant to be streaming tonight. Luckily, I made it back in time, but you know, I didn't stream last week because it was my birthday, because I'm getting old now apparently, so I couldn't miss this week too. I think it's about getting into like kind of a schedule and getting used to streaming on a week-to-week basis. Once you get into a pattern, it gets used to it. Any other times my bubba model. What is a bubba? Just going to fix up a few areas of textures. Anything else? Old. Bubba is old. What? Oh, as in I'm getting old. Yeah, I'm 21 now, mate. 21. I'm a real adult. Kill me. I'm meant to be responsible now. God forbid. Right then. If there's nothing else that I can see right now, I mean, obviously there's a few things to clean up and to complete, but I'm at a place in which I'm happy to call this model somewhat finished. And with that, I think I'm going to end the stream there. So thank you for joining, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to follow Everbloom's Twitter at EverbloomEN, I think, and my Twitter at NinjaMasterMC. Lame username, I know, but gotta call it out anyway. Make sure to keep up to date because I'm always going to be posting there any new models which I don't necessarily show on my streams, any streams which are upcoming, etc, you know the gist. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this stream and I hope to see you all next week at hopefully 7 PM GMT. We'll see if it actually happens at that time, but there you go. So thank you for joining, everyone, and I will see you later. Bye!